Hi, I'm Joy,
Hi, I'm Lorraine.
and this is Girlish Gurus. And Lorraine, why are we here?
We're here to talk about mid-lifestyle topics for women who are 45 and older to help you live your best, healthiest, and most fulfilled life. We're also going to have lots of fun along the way.
So let's get started. Where's all my stuff? Okay. Very good.
Okay?
Yep, you look good. All right, you ready?
No, go ahead.
No, come
I'm
on. All right. This is gonna be really good. Yeah. All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of Girlish Gurus. I'm Joy.
And I'm Lorraine.
Lorraine, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about something that probably many people out there have never heard of. We're talking about the vagus nerve. And I recently wrote a book called The Vagus Nerve Fix, and we'll get into a little bit about why I wrote it. Yeah.
Yes.
In just a minute, I'll share exactly what the vagus nerve is, but I just want to go back in history a little bit, probably about 15 years ago almost, I'm thinking now.
Okay.
I was in perimenopause and
Already super fun.
yeah, and studying to become an integrative health coach, which was my dream. And my closest friend was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. I'm already getting upset.
I
Listen,
know.
look at me.
Oh my God.
So she was diagnosed in February and passed away that December.
Jeez.
And it just hit me like so hard. And I didn't even realize what was happening. I had extreme anxiety levels. I was having panic attacks. I think I was looking at my own mortality and I was thinking about her kids. I was so close to her. If you read my first book, The Magic of Menopause, you may have recalled the story. Her name is Candy. We were literally like this. We grew up in different parts of the country. She was from Texas. I was from New York. So you can imagine the two accents together and living the same life across the country from each other, like same age, loved Donny Osmond and all of that. We just shared so much in common. And I met her when I was raising my kids. We moved to North Carolina and she lived across the cul-de-sac from us, and we did everything together. With our kids, we traveled together, we had vacations together. So basically we raised our kids together. And so it was when the kids were in their 20s that she was diagnosed. She was my buddy that I would meet monthly for coffee. And so there is a big loss gap in my life now because she's gone. But my body just was not handling any of that stress, any of the thoughts that were coming into my head. As a matter of fact, I thought I was going to be hospitalized for either my heart or my brain because I just was not handling anything. And at that time, I didn't realize exactly what was happening. I didn't even realize I was in perimenopause at that time. And I went to the doctor and I was not sleeping, so they put me on Xanax for a couple of nights. And since I was studying to become a holistic health coach, I really thought I could handle it on my own holistically. And together with my husband, I decided I was just going to do this on my own. What I did was I found cognitive behavior therapy was one thing, discovered the vagus nerve and how that affects everything in our body, from our sleep to our digestion to our immune response to how you handle anxiety and stress in your life, and realized mine was totally out of whack. It's called vagal tone and totally out of whack. So I researched, did all the things that I needed for my body, including the nutrients that I needed for my body, breathing exercises, that cognitive behavior therapy, all these different things that helped me get back to where my body was feeling good and I was feeling calm. It took a while.
How long did it take?
It probably took, before I was not having like these panic attacks anymore, it probably took a good year. It would come and go. But since that time, I rarely have that feeling anymore. I rarely have those anxiety attacks anymore. And actually, I don't really have anxiety attacks. I will have bouts of anxiety, but it's controlled. And I know exactly what to do through the different things that I do. Of course, on a consistent basis, I take supplements and try to eat the right foods. So I feel like I was able to successfully condition, I guess you would say, my vagal tone. And so we'll get into a little bit about exactly what that is. But I know that there are so many people out there that suffer from anxiety. It can be so debilitating. I felt that
Yes.
even though it was brief, it was not a feeling I ever want to experience again, that panic and high anxiety. So I know that these are things that can help people. And that's one of the reasons I wrote this book. After writing the book about menopause, I also realized many of the symptoms of menopause can be directly related to our vagus nerve. So I'm just going to read a little bit from the book about exactly what the vagus nerve is so people out there who may have never heard of it before can understand what it is. As a matter of fact, I had a girlfriend who I sent the link to for the book. And so she read it and she said, I think she did write a review, and she said something like, I didn't even know what the vagus nerve was before, or that I even needed this information. But oh my God, now I am like hooked on these exercises and everything, and I understand my body now, the mind and body connection.
Well, I really wish this were more prevalent in the medical community, because I do think that if we paid more attention to the mind-body connection, we might be able to get around, not all, but some of the medical intervention that we've been using to treat conditions and things like that.
Yeah, and I just want to mention, because I said, like, I wanted to do this holistically. I didn't want to take medication. There is a time and place for medications.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that I'm
Without
against
question.
medications, especially for anxiety and things like that. And so I'm not saying don't take medications. I just chose to do it this way, and I was successful. And for many people that might not have that extreme debilitating anxiety, this could probably work. But even if you are taking medications, this can be a benefit also. This can be a tool in your toolbox that can help you possibly maybe come off the medications or just make them work better for you.
I will say that anxiety, I think, is a far more prevalent issue for people than we realize.
Oh, yeah.
Anxiety was an issue for me from my childhood all the way through my professional life. My parents had a lot of issues with anxiety, which at the time I did not realize. But even my dad would talk about it, worrying about his anxieties. I think he really suffered from pretty significant anxiety. I don't know if it's a disorder or what, but I think that was an issue for him. And that's something that, because he had such a difficult time with it, we all existed in that anxiety soup as well as children. And so that's something that I struggled with for a lot of years, and I had no idea
Same
what was
here.
going on.
Same here.
None.
Same here. When I was a kid, I didn't realize the anxiety levels in my household. I didn't realize it was anxiety. Even into my adulthood, I didn't realize that I had those anxieties as a kid. I couldn't sleep at night. I would have these like thoughts all the time. I didn't realize that I had that anxiety. It just wasn't in that panic mode then, I guess. You know?
Well, that's because you learn to live with it.
Yeah.
In that fight or flight
Yeah.
mode, which is a fundamental concept in this discussion, which you're going to get into a little bit. But you learn to live with it. That becomes your normal.
Yeah.
And so you never get out of that fight or flight mode. And that causes problems with your overall health long term.
Yeah.
Serious ones.
So actually, like flexing this muscle, I guess, doing the exercises is just the same as if you were taking care of any other part of your body.
Right.
So this is so important for your mental and physical health, having good vagal tone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So
I'm just going to read exactly what the vagus nerve is, right?
Okay.
We talked about how it basically handles everything from digestion to heart rate to immune response. So the vagus nerve is your body's superhighway. It is the 10th cranial nerve and one of your body's longest and most intricate nerves, functioning as a two-way communication superhighway between your brain and various essential organs. Originating from the brainstem, it winds its way down through the neck, chest, and abdomen, with branches reaching out to the heart, lungs, and digestive tract. This complex network allows the vagus nerve to play a pivotal role in regulating involuntary bodily functions like heart rate, digestion, and immune response. It is a key component of the parasympathetic nervous system, which governs the body's rest and digest activities, counterbalancing the body's fight or flight response of the sympathetic nervous system. Essentially, the vagus nerve acts as a bridge connecting mind and body and ensuring they work harmoniously to maintain your health and well-being. So that's like a simple explanation of exactly what it is and how it works in our body. So maybe we need to also talk about what vagal tone is.
Exactly. Yes, please, because I read the book when it came out. And also, thank you for my super cool hard copy. Yes, which I love.
Plug.
I do not understand vagal tone. And we've been clear from the beginning. You're the science person.
Well, I like to do research, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you understand it better than I do. I'm not a
That's
science.
not true.
That is true. I don't have a science mind, and I'm not great at math. 11D is my favorite number. So this is not my area of expertise. So could you please explain what vagal tone is?
Okay. So you have to understand how vagal tone works in your body to understand like what you're doing, right? What these exercises are for. So vagal tone refers to the activity level of the vagus nerve, and it provides insight into the functioning of your autonomic nervous system. So one of the most reliable indicators, and healthcare providers can do different tests to test your vagal tone, but one of the most reliable indicators is your heart rate variability.
Okay.
HRV, they refer to it as, which measures the variation in time intervals between heartbeats. So a higher HRV indicates a healthy vagal tone and reflects your body's ability to adapt to stress and environmental changes.
Okay, so a longer time between heartbeats means your vagus nerve is active.
Yeah, that it's healthy.
Okay.
So like if you think about it, right, when they say, oh, people with a lower heart rate are healthier, right? Like a runner has a lower heart rate, like you're exercising. So I don't know.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you think about it, they're in a better state, right? It's the same for the vagus nerve. So let's just say in clinical settings, vagal tone is assessed through various methods, including EKGs that measure HRV and other specialized tests that evaluate autonomic nervous system function. So this link between vagal tone and autonomic health highlights the vital role of a well-functioning vagus nerve in supporting overall well-being. So I don't know that it's not active, it's just dysfunctional.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
It's like not working correctly.
Okay.
Okay, so the benefits of sustaining a high vagal tone are far-reaching. Enhanced emotional regulation is a prime advantage, allowing you to manage stress more effectively. With a high vagal tone, your body is better equipped to respond to stressors without becoming overwhelmed, promoting resilience and stability. So it's important for you to improve your vagal tone if you're experiencing any of these stress issues and anxiety issues, from mental to physical, right? Because stress manifests itself in our physical health as well as our mental health.
Right.
So we want to pay attention and do the right things to improve our vagal tone. So like I said before, think of it like a muscle. You can tone and train it to stay calm under pressure.
All right. Before we get into those techniques about the things that you can do to improve your vagal tone, I do think it's important to talk for a second about what weakens it, so that we're a little bit more clear on how your environment and the stress you exist in can cause problems with your vagal tone. And not just those things, but there are other things too, like as you age and et cetera. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So some of them are, of course, elevated stress. And in this environment that we live in, that's a consistent thing with most people, right? Consistent high levels of stress and cortisol levels, chronic inflammation, right? We're not taking care of our bodies. We're not eating well. We're not exercising.
Getting enough
sleep, environmental toxins, all those things are stressors on our body. Trauma. So many people deal with trauma in their lives, and maybe that's unaddressed, right?
I actually think this is kind of the big one.
Yeah.
Because we experience trauma and we don't process it.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a continuous loop that keeps us stuck in that state, in that fight or flight state or that fear-based state. And that's a big problem.
And this can lead to PTSD. When you have those life-threatening, possibly trauma situations in your life and your vagal tone is not healthy, it can lead to PTSD. So that's exactly what happens with so many people.
Oh, so many
Yeah.
people.
And certain medical conditions can affect vagal tone. So arrhythmias is one. So like after you've had a heart attack, reduced vagal tone has been linked to arrhythmias. Diabetes, neuropathy can affect the vagus nerve, potentially impairing its function. Direct damage to the vagus nerve, either from surgery or other injuries, can affect it. Inflammation, like we talked about, that age. Vagal tone naturally decreases with age. Your diet, a high salt diet can negatively impact vagal function. And of course, eating a lot of ultra processed foods and not getting the nutrients that we need. And we're going to get a little bit more into that about what you should be eating. Medications, certain medications like those that increase blood pressure can also affect vagal tone. Vasovagal syncope. This condition occurs when the vagus nerve overreacts to a trigger, causing a drop in blood pressure and heart rate, potentially leading to fainting. And just before we came on, Joy and I were talking about this a little bit. This does happen to me in medical situations. And not when it's happening to me, but if I'm watching somebody else go through some kind of a medical thing, this happens to me where I feel like I want to pass out and I have to put my head between my knees. And this is directly linked to our vagal tone.
Ron's aunt, she passes out of the sight of blood. And I think that's what this is. It's a function of the vagus nerve.
Right. But if we could improve that vagal tone, that might not happen to us. So if you have a better vagal tone, then your body would be able to handle those situations. So I still need to work on mine.
Well, yeah. I
mean, we'll be watching a show on TV and I see blood or whatever, or something's going to happen. I immediately put the cover, like I'm always have like a blanket on me. I put the blanket over my head and I tell my husband, tell me when it's over. Like I cannot watch it. So that's something I need to work on.
So what do we do to start improving our vagal tone?
Okay. So one of the things that I love, and this helped me so much when I was going through what I was going through, is breathing techniques. This is one of the big ones. I write about several of them in the book, from box breathing, which is like breathing in for 4, holding for 4, exhaling for 4.
That's a Navy SEAL
holding for 4.
breathing technique. That's what that is.
Yeah. Yep. This one is my favorite, the 4-7-8 breath. And Dr. Weil, Andrew Weil, had come up with this. And this one was what got me to sleep at night, helped me overcome panic attacks. And we're going to do this one together in a minute, but that's my favorite, where you breathe in for 4, hold for 7, and breathe out for 8. And you do that for 4 sets.
We're not going to fall asleep if we do that, are we?
You can. And actually, I have women tell me that when they start doing that, they can't even get through the 4 sets and they're asleep.
Oh, good.
So,
okay.
Yeah, so it does help. So
good to know.
And then another one is alternate nostril breathing. So
Okay.
you'll do like, you hold one side and then breathe in, breathe out through the other, hold in. But all of the instructions are in the book, but you can actually Google those and look them up, alternate nostril breathing. So why don't we do, okay.
Wait, before we do.
Yes.
Before we do that.
Yes, let's talk about why it helps.
Well,
Yeah.
even before we do that, we do need to say, run out and grab this book. You can get it through the link in the description of the show notes here. And it's an inexpensive book, but it's worth every penny. Please go get it and read it and use it.
I know that this can help so many people, and it's something you could take with you anywhere. I've had people tell me that now this is like their go-to if they're traveling, because then they can just like look up an exercise to do and remember. And actually, in the book, I guide you on how to come up with your own daily plan so that you have a plan every day that you can incorporate each of these things, from yoga to the breathing exercises to your food, gratitude journaling, all different things like that that can help you with vagal tone. So we're going to go into a little bit about why breathing helps with the vagal tone.
Okay.
So recall the last time you felt truly at peace, perhaps sitting by the ocean, listening to the waves, or lying in a quiet meadow surrounded by the soft rustle of leaves. In these moments, your breath likely slowed, deepened, and naturally brought you a sense of calm and clarity. This isn't just a pleasant coincidence. It's the power of your breath in action, a profound tool that influences both your mind and body, and a gateway to engaging your vagus nerve. The calming effects of breathwork can bring a sense of tranquility and relaxation to your daily life. Breathwork, or controlled breathing, is a direct line to your autonomic nervous system, the body's regulatory network. By modulating your breath, you effectively communicate with the vagus nerve, which is pivotal in activating the parasympathetic nervous system. This activation promotes a state of relaxation and mitigates the stress response. So that's exactly why we do it. You will be amazed at how well you feel doing breathing exercises. And so why don't we go into the 4-7-8 breath?
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, we'll do 2 rounds of it together. Okay. So we're going to breathe in for 4, hold for 7, and release for 8.
Okay.
Okay. Breathe for 4. Hold for 7. Release for 8. In for 4. Hold for 7. Release for 8.
No, I'm kidding.
I mean, I could already feel a little bit calmer. So if you do that for a set of 4, you should feel extremely relaxed. And you can do that not just before bedtime, anytime you're feeling anxious. If you're going to go do public speaking, that's a good one. That's when I do it. If you're in the car and you're having road rage, that's another good time. Nobody has road rage. Like sitting at a light just to find some kind of peace and calm. To just do those, especially that one, you can do that anytime. Right. Any of them you could do anytime, but I love that one.
And I love this little quote that you included. Your breath is free, portable, and always with you. You don't need a spa day, just a few mindful breaths. And that is exactly right.
Yeah. And that's another great thing about all of these exercises, everything that you do here. Even the yoga poses, you don't have to go to a yoga studio. Actually, you could go on YouTube if you don't know exactly what these poses are that I talk about in the book. But these are all things you can do simply at home in your spare time. Doesn't cost you anything. Obviously, you want to buy nutritious food. That'll cost you something. But as far as exercises and finding that calm, this is all on your own time and it doesn't cost you anything.
Right. And it's non-invasive.
Yeah. But of course, we always say this isn't medical advice, and you do want to check with your healthcare provider, especially if you are dealing with any of anxieties and stress levels. There are vagal techniques that you might need medical help with. So there are different like head positions and different things that you can do that might affect people differently. But for the most part, like the breathing exercises, the yoga positions, the food, those are all things that most people easily can do. But again, we always like to say that we are not doctors. This is not medical advice. This is purely educational information for you. And it's your body. You are your own best advocate, and always do what's best for you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Check with your medical providers if you have any questions or if you're having difficulties with anything. Yes. Hey, Lorraine, don't forget, it's time for us to schedule our Lifeline Screening appointments. They're 5 simple tests to help us keep on top of our heart and bone health, which is important for women over 45.
Yes, Lifeline Screening has been the premier provider of preventative health screening for over 30 years. In that time, over 10 million people have had screenings to detect their risk of stroke, cardiovascular disease, and other chronic illnesses. Lifeline Screening can provide meaningful benefits for your body and mind, and that's why they're committed to delivering accurate results and recommendations that could give you a healthier advantage in your everyday life, such as early detection of serious conditions, prevention of disease progression, peace of mind so you can enjoy life, savings with more affordable screenings, and no insurance required.
Yep, and don't forget, by using the link in the show notes of this episode, you get a special offer available to Girlish Gurus listeners, so make sure and schedule your appointment.
Get peace of mind now. Here's to your good health. So should we get into the foods a little bit?
Oh, that's always one of my favorite topics. Okay. Let's talk about the foods that support your vagus nerve, or your vagal tone.
So one of the things while I was experiencing what I did all those years ago, when I looked up what I might be deficient in, omega-3s was like top of the list. And the medical profession has done a good job of demonizing fats, and our body needs those healthy fats. especially for our brain, is so important. So like eating things like sardines and salmon and mackerel and anchovies, things like that, that are healthy fats for our brain, avocado, olive oil, so important for our brain. So that's some of the things that we need, because we need fats to create hormones. Hormones help with brain function. Obviously, a healthy hormone balance is also important for our bodies.
Right.
So omega-3s, nuts are a good source of that too, walnuts. Magnesium, big one. I take a magnesium supplement every night.
Me too.
Magnesium glycinate every night. Helps with reducing stress, helps with sleep. You can find it in leafy greens and almonds. There's a list in the book of different things. And this is a big one, probiotics. So things like yogurt, kimchi, sauerkraut. And I wanted to read a little bit about how it's so important, because the gut-brain axis is crucial to good vagal tone and vagus health. So I'm just going to read a little bit about how probiotics affect that. So in recent years, the connection between the gut and the brain has emerged as a fascinating area of study, shedding light on how our digestive health influences our mental well-being. This relationship is often called the gut-brain axis, a complex communication network that includes the vagus nerve as a primary pathway. The vagus nerve links the gut to the brain, transmitting signals that can affect mood and stress levels. And what's particularly intriguing is the role of gut microbiota, the diverse community of microorganisms in your digestive tract. So these tiny inhabitants have the power to influence neurotransmitter production, which in turn impacts your mood and anxiety levels.
That's amazing.
So all those little bugs in your gut, all the good bugs in your gut, directly affect your brain and its function.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm such a big proponent of good gut health. Remember, I did a group on gut health for women, and our gut is linked to everything in our body, and we just really want to take care of it. We don't want gut dysbiosis, where it's a leaky gut, where all these little organisms are going into your bloodstream and are getting attacked and causing autoimmune diseases. We want to eat all those healthy things. We want to stay away from ultra-processed foods. We want to nourish our gut, because in effect, nourishing our gut nourishes our brain and the rest of our body.
Yes.
So that's why it's important for the vagus nerve health as well. So some of the other foods that I talk about in the book, so much. So we want leafy greens, right? Like spinach and kale, nuts and seeds, almonds and flax seeds. And just adding these in, like just grabbing a handful of nuts during the day as a snack, it satiates you. It is good for your brain. It's good for your health. And it's just really a good snack. So don't reach for the cupcake.
No.
Reach for some nuts. And olives too. I love olives.
I love olives, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm looking forward to olives on our trip coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Last time we had those good olives was in Phoenix, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Eating all these healthy fats is so good. So B vitamins, important. So if you can't get enough B vitamins in your foods, I highly recommend taking a B complex, because that was another thing that helped me with my brain. It was magnesium, B complex. I'll get a little bit more into L-theanine later, which is what's in green tea. But all of these things are so beneficial for our brain and for our anxiety levels and stress levels. So B vitamins you can find in eggs, milk, organ meats like liver, which I love. I don't know if do you like liver?
I do, when it's prepared correctly. And I love liver pate.
I do.
Yeah, I don't know if that's got a lot of fat in it, but I like liver. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because not many people do.
Oh, no.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I grew up eating it, so.
Yep. So B vitamins also play a crucial role in our mental health, like I said, and shows that adequate levels can help reduce the risk of anxiety and depression, making them essential for maintaining emotional resilience. So get your B vitamins.
Oh,
so
yes, very important.
Yep.
Very important.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about L-theanine and the green tea.
Okay. So
I love green tea.
So L-theanine is an amino acid that's found in green tea, but you can also take it as a supplement, which I do. I take it every evening before I go to sleep too. And it is a calming amino acid, but it's an alert calmness. So it doesn't put you to sleep, but it relaxes you. It won't keep you awake, but it's something that just naturally relaxes your body.
And helps to calm you down.
It helps to calm you. I actually recently my mom's 87 and she's experiencing some anxiety and could not get it under control. And L-theanine is one of the things that I recommended that she take. And she said, oh my gosh, she thinks it's a drug. That's how well it
Wow.
works. Yeah. And I'm like, no, Mom, it's just like a supplement. It's an amino acid. It's what's in green tea. She goes, how come when I drink green tea, I don't feel that way? And I said, well, in the supplement, I guess it's just more concentrated. And obviously in green tea, there's also caffeine. So that might work in the reverse. So I said, yeah, this is just like an isolated thing from it. So she said it's really helped her so much.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. It was one of my go-tos. And I take it before bed, but I also will take it, again, before public speaking, or if I'm having a very anxious day, different things are happening. It's just a good way to feel, just like I said, an alert calmness.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
All right. And we'll include information about is it in the book, L-theanine?
L-theanine, I don't think I put L-theanine in this book. It is in the Magic of Menopause book, but specifically because it's not directly related to vagus nerve health. It's just like another tool in the toolbox for anxiety, so it can help.
Well,
But,
we'll include information about L-theanine in the show notes.
yeah. So in the book, I talk about how you can build a vagus nerve boosting plan, so different ways that you can incorporate like salmon and vegetables for dinner. So I give you like different examples of what you can do for different meals throughout the day. But just keep in mind, if you just concentrate on eating whole, nutrient-dense foods, you'll be good.
Yeah.
And just stay away as much as possible from the crap. Mm-hmm. You're allowed to indulge every once in a while, even if you eat really well 5 days a week and on the weekends you get to indulge a little bit. That is better than not doing it, you know? So, baby steps, and it's not all or nothing. Let's just say that. Don't give up because if you think you can't eat that way consistently, it's okay to do it when you can, as much as you can, and just really pay attention how your body feels. Sometimes I tell women, do a food journal, because then you will actually see what your triggers are as far as insomnia, anxiety, depression, and there's a direct link sometimes to exactly what we're putting in our bodies.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So this is another little quote we had. It's not about dieting. It's about fueling your calm.
Ooh, I love that.
So you're providing your body with the things necessary to find that good, healthy, calm balance in your body.
Okay. What about movement?
Okay. So talked a little bit about the yoga. Obviously, exercise, walking, any kind of exercise is good for our body and does help with stress reduction and anxiety. I often tell women, take a 20-minute walk if you're feeling anxious. It's better than a Xanax. And it's true.
That is true.
You go for a walk, and again, I did that during those times, and every time I did that walk, it just released all of that anxiety. It would calm the panic.
And you feel better.
And you just naturally feel better. So obviously those kind of things. But for the yoga positions, those positions help with the vagus nerve regulation. So the 3 things I talk about are legs up the wall. They're very simple. So you just basically lay against the wall with your legs up against the wall. Cat cow, which is the
arching your back.
Arching and then flexing the back. And then supported bridge. So laying down and then lifting and having a supported bridge. So I give instructions in the book, but again, you can Google those 3 things. They help with vagus nerve regulation. Other things that we can do. All right, I'm just going to read this a little bit. Okay. So yoga plays a key role in activating the parasympathetic nervous system, often described as the rest and digest response. You encourage the vagus nerve to stimulate this calming system through thoughtfully executed asanas or yoga poses. As you move and breathe, your heart rate slows, your mind quiets, and a deep sense of calm settles over you. So that's why doing these positions, and actually anyone who does yoga knows this, that and I remember my son doing this when he was having some anxiety. He said he loved going to the yoga classes to really calm himself. Mm-hmm. This activation lowers stress levels, enhances your ability to manage anxiety, and promotes emotional well-being. Integrating breath control in yoga, known as pranayama, is a fundamental part of this process. Focusing on calm, intentional breathing further stimulates vagal activity, enhancing your mind-body connection and fostering relaxation. And I just want women to know out there, because I know when I was directing someone to the book and they saw that there was yoga. She said, oh, I can't do yoga. I don't want to do yoga. Don't let that stop you from doing all of the other things that you can do for your vagal tone. There are so many other things between the breathing exercises and the foods that you eat and the mindfulness.
Lifestyle things. Yes. Mindfulness. Yes.
Yep. And that's one thing I forgot to mention about eating mindfully. Really paying attention. Don't sit in front of a TV or with your screen while you're eating. Pay attention to what you're eating and see how it satisfies your body. This leads to eating better for your body. It leads to eating less because sometimes we just don't pay attention and we just keep eating. And it is so much better for your digestion.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I agree.
Be a mindful eater. Yeah. And then some of the lifestyle things that you can do. One of them is like cold therapy.
Ooh, I don't know about this one, Lorraine.
Okay. I have to tell you, when I thought I was going to have a panic attack, I would open the freezer and stick my head in it. And I had a therapist tell me this because I was going for the grief therapy. And I told her I was experiencing this. She said, go open the freezer, stick your head in. It immediately snaps you out of it.
Wow. Well,
It
it's good for a hot flash too. I'm just saying.
Yes. You can do that too while you're doing. And honestly, hot flashes sometimes come because of anxiety or a panic or different modes that can happen in your body. Again, vagal tone probably is a big contributor to that. But cold exposure, like a cold splash, a cold shower, cold plunges, that's why they're so good for your body too. It helps with vagal tone. But even sticking your face, now this one you might not want to do, but this is a good therapy. Having a bowl of cold water and ice and just like sticking your face in the ice water will just like snap you out of it, and it helps with that vagal tone. Singing, humming, chanting, these are all things that help with it.
Oh,
with
I
vagal
chant.
tone.
I chant things sometimes.
Do you remember the episode we did about
Yes,
humming? That they said you can't really have a thought when you're humming.
I think so.
You can't, but you said that it didn't stop. I couldn't think of anything, but you said that didn't work for you.
Well, I am an overachiever in all things, including my ability to think while I'm humming.
Well, let's do it.
Okay,
again.
ready?
Ready? I was trying to think of anything. I could.
Okay.
Okay, laughter is a good one.
Yes.
too.
And we do a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Digital detox.
Oh. Now, I'm on the fence about this one. We are digital creators.
I know. I am trying. Okay, so several things that you and I can do is not immediately getting on our phones in the morning to check and see this, that, the other thing, what's going on.
I already don't do that.
Okay.
Like, I don't touch my phone other than the alarm's going off.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
good because we always say light before screens. So you want sunlight before you look at any screens.
Okay.
So we want that sunlight in our eyes, which is so good for us too, right?
Yes.
The morning light. The other big one is before you go to bed, try, and I know this is a hard one, at least 1 to 2 hours before you go to bed, no screens.
Oh, Lorraine, come on.
I know. We've talked about this so many times, but you'll get a better night's sleep. Stress levels will be lower. You're not doing doom scrolling, which a lot of people do lately, which drives me nuts, which is so bad for our health, right? You get sucked into these things and it's just like one horrible thing after another.
But you know me, I'm not doom scrolling. I'm looking for puppet videos and stuff.
No, I know. You're not doom scrolling, but so many people do.
Yes.
And they just get sucked into it. Causes high anxiety, high chronic stress. So as much as you can get out of that mode, the better. And maybe read a book, an actual book before bed, because I'm thinking even like I do have a Kindle and I love my Kindle, but I think I would rather use that during the day and not have that light and that screen at night. And I do enjoy holding a book in my hand.
Well, you know what Sue Lucy from page 158 says? She says it's important to hold that book and have that experience, to be able to smell it, to be able to turn the pages. That is much more beneficial for your health reading that way than it is reading on your Kindle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Plus, how many times do you want to go back and look at something? And you can't that easily on the Kindle. You know, I had a woman tell me she doesn't even remember the name of the book she was reading because when she opens her Kindle and goes to the page she's on, I guess somewhere on the page, I don't know, she doesn't know the author, she doesn't know the book or whatever.
I don't think it shows you that on the page.
I'm not sure.
You have to tap it and back out of the page you're reading a little in order
Yeah.
to get to that information.
There is nothing like holding a book in your hand.
I love the smell. And there's a word for people who experience the smell of a book. And I can't remember what it is. But I love how books smell. As long as they're not, like moldy and gross. But
yeah, I've got all of those old books too from my grandparents. You open them up and there's silverfish in them and whatever.
Lorraine, come on, I was having a moment. You got to bring the bugs into it.
Oh, but I can't part with because they were my grandparents. Mm-hmm. I'm learning. Which comes to this point. Okay, so we want to create home spaces that are tranquil and relaxing. So one of those things is decluttering. So I got to get rid of the old books, but we have to learn to declutter our spaces and set okay, I'm just going to read a little bit about that. Okay. Hang on. Okay. Stepping into a room with soft lighting and the calming scent of lavender, you feel an immediate sense of peace, a refuge from the noise of the outside world. I love it. This isn't just a dream. It's a space you can create with intentional effort, and you can combine chanting and singing with
That's
it.
right.
The environment around you profoundly impacts your mental and emotional well-being, shaping how you feel, think, and recharge each day. I feel this all the time. When things are amiss in my environment, where there's stacks like in my office right now, I need to do a good thorough clean out. My mind is also scattered, right? And anxious and, I got to get rid of that. I got to do this. But you have to listen to our episode with Shannon Arner.
Yes.
All about minimalist living, because she has found such peace at
Yes.
that. So this is a big thing. So having that good space, that good tranquil space is very important for vagal tone. When you're surrounded by clutter and chaos, your mind mirrors the disorder, leading to a heightened anxiety and stress, and disorganization can make it difficult to focus, leaving you feeling overwhelmed by the simplest tasks. Noise pollution from traffic, neighbors, or electronic devices adds to the sensory overload, making it challenging to find moments of peace. A lack of natural light in your living space can also drain your energy and lower your mood, contributing to a lingering sense of fatigue. That's one thing I love about my office. I have such wonderful light. I have the morning light. I got that southern exposure and southeast exposure. So I get the morning sunlight coming through, and I just feel good in that space with the light.
Yeah, it's nice up there. I agree. You also have a sauna in there. I'm just saying.
I do have a sauna. I have my power plate.
Yes. It is very nice in there. Yes.
It is my spa/office. Come and visit.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So again, having these lifestyle resets in our life, along with the nutrition, along with the breathing, the exercise, just making space for what really lights up our life, calms us down, and to find that peace and calmness.
And you can start small. Pick one thing and work on it. Start small and work up to other things to help you improve your vagal tone. Yes.
And obviously sleep, we talked about that a little bit.
Wow, that's a big one.
That is probably one of the biggest. If you're not getting good sleep, the rest of your health is really suffering.
Majorly.
So,
yes.
And finding that good vagal tone helps you get to sleep, helps you have a good night's sleep. Also, having a nice mouth guard helps.
Yes.
So these are all things that you can find to help you. I have a list of different things in that chapter specifically about lifestyle, ways to declutter your house, different things that you can do, from the cold therapy. And throughout the book, I talk about other things that you can do for vagal tone, which we don't have time to get into now, but there are actually medical devices that you can use. But again, those are things that you need a supervision of a healthcare provider, because they directly affect your vagus nerve. They stimulate your vagus nerve. And usually that's for people who are having extreme problems with vagus nerve function. So yeah, quality sleep, important.
Yes.
And having a balanced daily schedule.
Very important. Yes.
And I give tips on how to do those things, how to create that for yourself each day, how to create your own daily schedule that incorporates a little bit of each of these things in the day for you.
That's good stuff right there.
So one thing I did want to share now as we're coming almost to the close, we're going to wrap up in a bit, is...
Well, before you get to that,
Okay.
there's one more thing I think we should talk about.
Okay.
And that is try to incorporate a gratitude practice.
Yes.
Okay, so we didn't really talk about it as we were going through the other information in the book, but I have found that the gratitude practice I work on regularly has helped me so much, much more than I can easily articulate in a brief podcast episode.
Yeah.
If you can find even one small, tiny little thing to be grateful for, then that can change your whole mood, outlook, tone, everything. So just do yourself a favor, take a couple of minutes in the morning, maybe while you're brushing your teeth or drinking a cup of coffee, and try to find at least one thing to be grateful for.
Yeah. And actually having a positive mindset, like using those gratitude practices, actually changes the neural pathways in our brains, right? We're conditioned to have negativity bias, unfortunately, most of us. And we look for those negative things in our life and in the world.
Well, that's also
We're
a
surrounded.
survival
Yeah.
mechanism.
Yeah.
We are hardwired for that because it helps us stay
Survive.
alive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But the more that you can concentrate on, and I'm not talking about toxic positivity, I'm talking about really just like being grateful for the wonderful things in your life, from the sunshine to the food on your plate, to your family, maybe to an experience that you're having that day. It could be the simplest of things, but you always can find something to be grateful for. And like Barbara had told us in the last episode, wake up with a smile, because that could set the tone for the day and set you on a positive path for that day.
I love that.
Yeah.
That was a great episode. Go check it out. Very good.
Yeah.
Yes. Barbara.
We've had so many great episodes
I
this
know.
year so far.
I know it. All the episodes are good.
Yes.
But yes, we have been lucky to have some fantastic folks
Yeah.
on the show.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, again, gratitude to all of them.
Yes.
We have so much to be grateful for.
Oh, we really do. Each
do.
other.
Yes.
Good stuff right there.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Okay, so I wanted to just share, because this is important, some cautions with vagus nerve health. So embarking on the journey to better health through vagus nerve exercises can be an empowering endeavor, but it's crucial to approach these practices with mindfulness and awareness of potential risks. While these exercises are generally safe, overstimulation can lead to dizziness or fainting, particularly if you're new to the practice or pushing beyond your comfort zone. Your body needs time to adjust, and it's important to proceed cautiously. And this could even just be as simple as the breathing exercises. When you're doing the breath in, holding it, breathing out, potentially you could become dizzy. So just be careful and just do it in your own time, how your body feels good.
start off sitting down.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Or even laying down in your bed, because the 4-7-8 breath, that's when I've done those mostly at night when I was going to sleep. So you could just be laying down even doing that.
Here, do you
All
want me
right.
to read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Individuals with certain medical conditions, such as heart problems or neurological disorders, should exercise extra vigilance. These conditions may present contraindications, meaning that some vagus nerve exercises might not be suitable or could exacerbate existing health issues. Being aware of these risks and taking the necessary precautions will ensure your safety and confidence in your well-being journey.
Good job.
Yay!
Good job.
I get a gold star.
Good job.
I didn't
Oh
write the
my
book,
gosh.
but I can read it.
Oh my gosh. All right. To engage in vagus nerve exercises safely, start with gentle techniques. Simple practices like deep breathing or humming can be a gentle introduction, allowing your body to acclimate to the new sensations. As you become more comfortable, you can gradually increase the intensity or duration of these exercises. However, listening to your body's signals is vital throughout this process. Okay, so there's more on that in the book, how to be careful, take precautions, always listen to your body, and check with your healthcare provider.
Yes.
All right.
Now, here comes the most important thing that we're going to talk about, and that is,
We didn't even mention this in the beginning.
dun, 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 we've got something exciting coming up.
We have a 30-day vagus nerve challenge, which has started. It's in my private support group, but you can join now. It started at any point during the process. Every day there are prompts with a breathing exercise, a yoga pose, nutrition to do for that day. And these are great ways to introduce you to your vagus nerve and how to stimulate the vagus nerve, how to get that good vagal tone, even if you've never done anything before. The book is not necessary. You don't have to have the book. It's just a great tool to use along with it, obviously. But you can join my group. We'll put a link to the private group in the show notes. And it's a wonderful group with, I think we have like 2,500 women in it right now. So we're doing the challenge. It started June 1st and it goes through the whole month of June, but you can take those exercises and continue to do them forever.
Right.
So it's a great introduction to the vagus nerve health.
Yes. Go check it out.
Yeah.
And I know she said you don't need the book, but you really ought to consider getting it. It's inexpensive. You can pick it up and it's a quick read and it has so much good information in
Thank
it.
you,
You did
Joy.
such a great job.
Thank you, Joy.
Yes.
Now, if I could just speak.
You can speak and you speak very, very well.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, my whole life. Hundreds on the spelling tests. But don't ask me to say, oh my God, do you want to hear a funny story? Okay,
always.
Just to give you an idea, I was in high school, and this is like one of those moments where forever is, this is where my vagal tone needed help. I was in a health class, and I had to get up and speak about, wait a minute, let me just think of what the word is again.
Don't say uterus.
No, it's not uterus, not vagina. Could you imagine in high school having to get up and talk about that? No, this was about...
You'd see my vagal nerve come out.
Okay. It was about mental telepathy. Okay?
Okay.
And I got up in front of the whole class, and being the person that I am and reading the way I do, I got up and said, mental telepathy. And the teacher looked at me and he said, well, what did you say? Mental telepathy. And so, but that's one of those moments that just still stands out because I was mortified because he goes, it's telepathy, whatever. And like the kids were like laughing and whatever. But that's just like how I read it.
Well, I've always heard never make fun of someone who mispronounces a word because they learned that word through reading and not from someone saying it to them. You know?
Thank you for making me feel better.
No, it's the truth because, all right, well, I will share this with you. I never understood how to pronounce certain words like macabre, right? And I knew the word because I'd read it many, many times, but I never heard anyone say it. And so I used to say macabre. I never knew how it was pronounced until someone said, oh, that's the macabre or whatever. And I was like, what word is that? And I don't toot my own horn much, but really, really good speller. Very, very good speller.
I always was too.
Mm-hmm. Very good reader, just like you. I'm a good reader. I can read fast, pretty accurately. I retain it. But I wasn't in an environment where I heard people saying those words. And so I read the words. I knew the word, but I didn't understand how to pronounce it. And I mispronounced it many times before. I heard someone pronounce it correctly, and then I thought, oh, I'm such a dope. But that's not the case. It's just...
I know.
You read the word, you didn't really have someone saying it to you in the correct way.
Okay, let me see if I can say contraindication.
Okay. Now I was laughing. You got to say it again.
Oh, contraindication.
Say it again.
Contraindication?
Yay, close enough. Pretty good.
How do you say it?
Contraindication.
Contraindication.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, contraindication.
There you go. That's like syncope.
You know, things that don't fit with what you're doing.
Right. Oh, we always have so much fun together.
Oh my God.
That's good stuff right there.
From now on, before we do a podcast episode, I'm going to have to instead of a spelling bee, I'm going to have to take all those words that I know I'm going to be talking about and just like say them over and over and over and over.
We already kind of do that. I mean, we go and we
know.
check pronunciations and things like that. We do.
I know we do.
All right. So
30-day challenge coming up. Please come into the group, ladies, and follow us on Instagram, Girlish Gurus, on YouTube. Where else?
Well, we got a new website coming at some point.
Yes. Very excited about that.
That's in the works. So just hold that thought because it's coming.
And we have exciting news coming up soon. Joy and I are headed somewhere this week, getting prepared for a
retreat.
Yes!
Yay.
A Girlish Gurus retreat. Maybe help us come up with a name for this retreat.
Oh, I got a name for the retreat.
Do you?
Sort of.
Okay. But maybe our audience can help us. Maybe the ladies out there can help us come up with a name too.
Yes.
Or they can vote on whatever we put out there.
Well, this one I just kind of think is a little bit funny, and it's not exactly correct, but we're going to be working on this coming week our vagus nerve. Bump.
Yep.
It just, if you got a little Elvis going on in your mind right now, that's about right. What happens in Vegas stays in your vagal tone. I'm just saying.
Yes.
Oh, we have so much fun together. Yes. This is going to be good.
Yeah, so stay tuned. That's happening in October 2026. And we're so excited about it.
I am next level excited. I'm already planning on what I'm going to wear.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Getting all my sunscreen together.
And we're not going to tell you where exactly it's going to be yet. It's not Vegas.
It's not Vegas, no.
It's not Vegas, but we're doing that as part of our trip.
Yeah.
But we're not going to tell you where it is, but you will love it.
Oh,
you will
yes.
love it. So we're going to take some pictures there this week and whatever. Get ready. And we'll be dropping the bomb.
Shortly.
Soon, yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
Yes, we'll be working on our vagal tone. Okay.
Okay, so we're going to end with a calming affirmation.
Yes.
I am safe. I am supported. I am at ease.
I love it.
Yep. So ladies, take care of your vagus nerve. Flex that muscle. Get that vagal tone where you need it to be in a healthy state.
And we're here to help you with that.
Yes.
So come along for the ride and join us.
Yes.
That's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for being with us and supporting us. And
For the laughs.
yes, for the laughs. Always good.
I'm making her take that out of the YouTube.
We'll see about that.
Remember, give us a like, a share. We love you. We want to hear from you.
Yes.
And until next time.
Mwah. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to this episode of Girlish Gurus. We hope you'll join us next time for more fun and inspiration. Be sure to check the description of this episode for links and information about the topic, and you can find us on our social media platforms starting with Instagram, Facebook, and now including YouTube. You can find us by searching Girlish Gurus, and you can also check out our website, girlishgurus.com, for more information on us, our projects, books, and our growing community.
And don't forget to download this episode, give it a good review, and share it with your girlfriends. We would also love to hear from you in the comments because the more interaction we get, the more episodes we can post. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.